And today, you'll see how 10 subtle tricks can change the way people listen to you, trust you, and respond to you almost automatically. Jason stood backstage, gripping a half-empty water bottle. He wasn't sweating, he was drowning in his own silence. Today, he was expected to deliver a short welcome speech for the company's leadership training. Just 3 minutes, but his mind had gone blank, not just nervous, terrified. He looked down at the audience from the curtain slit. Faces, titles, influence. His knees nearly gave out. I don't belong here. They'll see I'm just pretending. But then, something small saved him. As he stepped into the light, he took a sip, then another. "Sorry," he said into the mic, voice shaky. "I'm nervous, but I care." The room went still, and then softened. People leaned in. Admitting nervousness makes you human, and humans root for other humans. But this was just the beginning. What happened after the speech would reshape the way Jason moved through every room for the rest of his life. Later that night, Jason double-checked his apartment door 3 times. Did I lock it? Again. Doubt gnawed at him, but then he remembered. Create unforgettable cues. So he grinned, tapped the lock once, and whispered, "Green rabbit." That phrase was ridiculous, but it worked. He never doubted himself again. Back at work, Jason tried something else, mirroring body language. During meetings, he observed. When a manager leaned forward, Jason waited, then subtly mirrored the posture. When a colleague crossed her arms during debate, he waited, then gently matched it. And something strange happened. People listened more. They laughed quicker. They agreed faster. Trust didn't need to be shouted. It just needed to be reflected. And here's the part nobody teaches you. How silence, posture, and pacing change everything. When conflict hit, Jason faced a test. His junior analyst left a window open overnight, costing the office thousands in equipment damage from rain. Jason was furious, but he paused and reframed. Instead of saying, "You left the window open," he said, "The window was left open last night. Let's make sure it never happens again." The employee nodded. No defensiveness, no tension, just resolution. And when Jason wanted a team member's support for a new project, he didn't demand, he didn't beg, he simply nodded as he asked, "Would you be willing to back this pitch with me?" The response, "Yeah, absolutely." But influence isn't always clean. Sometimes power requires a push. Jason's leadership coach challenged him to lead a high-stakes negotiation. Jason hesitated, so she planted a seed. "Honestly, I'm not sure you're ready for this yet." Jason's pride flared. That was the trigger. He prepared harder than ever before. If these moments feel like therapy for your future self, subscribe. We're just getting started. During the pitch rehearsal, one manager said, "Could you maybe tighten the intro a bit?" Jason felt it, the indecision. So when it was his turn to delegate tasks, he skipped "could you" and said, "Please gather the data." It wasn't harsh, it was clear. Confidence, through clarity. But psychology isn't always about connection. Sometimes it's about discomfort. At a networking event, Jason found himself cornered by a condescending exec. The man dominated every conversation, rarely blinked, stared hard, like a challenge. Jason stared directly at his forehead. The exec fidgeted, his rhythm cracked. He walked away within a minute. Later that week, Jason was interviewing a potential hire. Something didn't sit right. She dodged questions, so he leaned in, locked eyes, and went silent. Seconds passed. She spoke again, this time with more detail, more truth. Used silence and eye contact to invite honesty. Jason had changed, but not because he became louder or more commanding. He became attuned. His final test came on his first day as team lead. He wanted to build trust, so when a new colleague joined, Jason asked, "Hey, could you walk me through how you set up your last campaign?" He already knew the answer, but he asked anyway. That one question opened a week's worth of connection. Episode 2. Every psychological trick has a dark side. Used with care, they open doors. Used without awareness, they quietly close them. This isn't just psychology, this is power. and the responsibility that comes with it. Jason had changed. He was finally being noticed. He influenced decisions, earned respect. He'd mastered the subtle psychology of quiet control. But something was off. After using trick number 9, the pause and stare for truth technique, his colleague Jenna told HR she felt psychologically cornered. Jason didn't mean to intimidate, but the same silence that once invited honesty now came across as manipulative. He felt shaken. "Have I gone too far?" Jason met with his mentor, a soft-spoken woman named Angela. She said, "Tools don't make you powerful. Knowing when not to use them does." He started replaying each tactic, not as a weapon, but as a lens. Trick 1, admitting nerves worked because it was honest. Trick 3, mirroring built trust until it became mimicry. Trick 6, doubting inspired drive until it chipped away at confidence. Angela's question hit hard. Ask yourself, does this create connection or control? That became his new compass. But it wasn't just about balance. It was about what was missing all along. Jason was asked to mediate a conflict between two feuding teams. Old Jason would have used tricks, silence, staring, emotional leverage. This time, he told a story. He asked questions. He listened, without tactics. And it worked. Not because he used psychology, but because he chose presence over persuasion. Wait, because this next part is where everything Jason believed is tested. Jason met with an employee on the verge of quitting. The old playbook would have told him to nod, reframe, or challenge. Instead, he said, "What do you need from me to succeed?" That wasn't a trick. That was trust. It melted walls. It sparked progress. Jason had stopped performing influence and started embodying it. At the company retreat, Jason led a breakout session titled The Psychology of Presence. He shared every trick he'd learned, every one he'd misused. He told them, it's not about using psychology to control rooms. It's about understanding yourself so deeply, people feel safe in your presence. Real power isn't in persuasion, it's in peace. And for the first time, Jason didn't need validation. He just needed to be real. When you use psychology, are you connecting or controlling? What part of you is still performing for approval? What happens when you stop using tricks and start using intention? We go deeper into the psychological traps planted in childhood, the beliefs, the fears, the hidden scripts that sabotage your influence before you ever speak. If this story held up a mirror, subscribe, because real influence starts with self-awareness, and the most powerful room you'll ever control is the one inside you.